So Simon messaged me this morning to mention that he's gotten the job, which is super great. And also, he had a bit of a question or something that you thought you'd like me to sort of weigh in on. So Simon asked or mentions, I'm a little anxious about what will consist of my job or what they expect me to do for them and finish. I would appreciate your opinion in that, or how was your first job as an Android developer? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give a fairly short answer here, but I'm going to try and generalize this question a little bit. So the question is kind of, all right, so Simon is in a situation where he's going to be beginning a new job, and he doesn't know exactly what they're going to expect of him. He doesn't know exactly what the skill level they will expect is, and those sorts of things. And there's just what we're dealing with here is a very high degree of uncertainty. So I would hazard a guess that for most people who tend to get into the field of programming, uncertainty is kind of a problem. So to speak from personal experience, my way of basically, my old way, I'll say, of trying to solve every problem in my life was to gather information about it, to analyze it, to try and predict all the different scenarios that could occur and cover all my bases and just have as much thoughts and information about the new situation that I'm going to be going into as possible, and to really rely on that as my source of dealing with the anxiety of starting something new, starting a new job, starting a new live stream, this, that, and the other. So if I could give general advice to everyone listening to this about any situation that you're going to be walking into where you're nervous, there's kind of two ways to go about handling it. So what I just described is like an analytical, problem-solving, up-in-your-head kind of way of dealing with new jobs and situations like that. There's a time and a place for that. So I'm not saying don't study, don't try to gather useful information, don't try to prepare. I'm not saying that. But what I would say is there's a time for that, and that time is before you start your first day, your first job, your first live stream, your first video. But when you start, to take sort of an expression or a saying from Bruce Lee, how he would kind of describe how you should sort of behave when you're about to begin, say, a fight. So let's say you're an MMA fighter or a boxer, or you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappler or a wrestler or something like that. So before the fight, the event, the live stream, the first day, obviously you do spend your time preparing, you practice, and that there is a time and place for practice. But what Bruce Lee said is when it's your first day, when the fight happens, he had a saying, essentially, I'll have to paraphrase it, I don't remember it exactly off the top of my head, but become like a doll made of wood. Let the limbs, this is kind of a fighting analogy, but let the limbs work them, limbs being like your arms and your legs and your punches and all that stuff. Let the limbs work themselves out based on the practice you've made, and you have to just kind of get out of your head. So that will sound vague and esoteric. So what do I actually mean by that? When you start your first day, well, actually, let me use this live stream as an example. So what if I were to tell you that before every live stream I do, I have no idea whether it's going to be good or not. I do know that some percentage of my live streams are not going to be good. Usually about 1 in 5 live streams I do aren't great. Now, it could be for different reasons. It could be that I didn't prepare enough. It could be that like last live stream, I just happened to get bombarded with a lot of questions that I didn't have clear answers to because they were with technologies that I haven't worked with. I got questions about Bluetooth. I got questions about broadcast receiver, a couple things which are holes in my knowledge because, surprise, surprise, I don't know everything. No one does. So kind of the antidote to the anxiety and the uncertainty that you're going to deal with when you're walking into a live stream or a new job is to understand, and maybe this might be kind of something you can remind yourself of, your best is either good enough or it isn't. But that's all you can do. All you can do is what is your best at the time. Now, for Simon, I know he's a pretty good programmer, so probably, Simon, your best is going to be fine. It might even be better than the average new junior developer. I don't know, but there's a good chance of that. So you have to walk into this situation just understanding when it's time to start your first day, try not to speculate. Try not to anticipate what's going on. Try not to anticipate what they're going to tell you. Try not to do that. Try to get out of your head and just understand you've worked hard, you've practiced, and now is not the time for cramming information. Before you start your first day, you relax, and you totally accept the fact that you might completely fail. In fact, that's actually another thing that I do is before every live stream, if I am feeling nervous, I'll actually kind of jokingly say to myself, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get my ass kicked. And then it becomes funny. And then the idea, oh, what am I going to do? What if I fail? What if they throw something at me and I don't understand? What if I let down their expectations? All of that speculation. Look, I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. Probably it won't happen because you're a junior developer and you're not going to be expected to know everything. But the thing you can bring into this situation, no matter what, regardless of how hard you studied or all these sorts of things, is a good attitude and a calm, clear mind. So that's what I would encourage for you, Simon. On your first day, don't try to push away the anxiety. Don't try to push away the nervousness. It's okay to be nervousness. It's okay to fail. It's okay to look stupid in front of others. Everyone has all of those things happen. Even the smartest people I know are wrong. And the only people who claim to be correct all of the time are self-deluded.